Unstoppable You. Overcoming Every Obstacle in Life, written by James Walker and published by Stoic Journey. Imagine you are standing at the edge of a cliff. The wind is rushing past you, and there is a huge leap ahead. It's scary, isn't it? But what if I told you that the only thing holding you back from making that leap is your mindset? What if the key to overcoming every obstacle in life is simply deciding that you are unstoppable? Every day, we face challenges, some big, some small, but we all have moments where we wonder if we're capable of moving forward. Have you ever been in a situation where you feel stuck, like no matter how hard you try, the obstacles seem too big to overcome? It's like trying to walk through quicksand, sinking deeper with every step. But what if the solution wasn't in trying harder, but in thinking differently? What if, instead of doubting yourself, you began to believe that no obstacle could stand in your way? In our daily lives, we often face situations that test our strength, whether it's in our career, relationships, or personal growth. We all have dreams and goals, but how often do we feel like we're too far from reaching them? It's easy to let doubts creep in, but the truth is, the most successful people aren't the ones who never face challenges. They're the ones who push through them with an unstoppable mindset. There are so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% subscribe. So please, take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. It would mean the world to us, and we'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments section below. Join our journey to becoming unstoppable together. In this video, we'll dive deep into how you can overcome any obstacle life throws your way. By the end, you'll realize that being unstoppable isn't about being perfect or never failing. It's about choosing to keep going, no matter what. Let's explore how you can develop that powerful, unstoppable mindset, starting today. Imagine, for a moment, you're standing at the base of a mountain. The peak seems so far away, almost unreachable. As you gaze up, you start questioning whether you have what it takes to climb it. Every step feels heavy, and the thought of the obstacles that lie ahead makes you want to turn back. This feeling is familiar to so many of us. It's fear, a natural response that we all encounter when we face something uncertain or unknown. But what if I told you that fear is not your enemy? What if it's actually your greatest ally, the very thing that can push you to grow beyond what you thought was possible? Fear, like any emotion, can be overwhelming. It can hold us in place, paralyze us, and stop us from taking action. It's easy to think that fear is a sign that we're not ready or capable. But in reality, fear is a sign of opportunity. Every time we feel that wave of fear, it's often an indicator that we are about to step outside our comfort zone, into something that could change our lives. The truth is, if you're not afraid, you're probably not growing. Growth happens when we face the things that scare us the most. It's in those moments of fear that we find out what we're truly capable of. Let's take a look at this from a different perspective. You've probably heard the phrase, "Feel the fear and do it anyway." It's not just a catchy saying, it's a mindset that can transform your life. When you encounter fear, don't run from it. Instead, face it head-on. The mountain may still look daunting, but if you start climbing, one step at a time, the fear starts to fade. You realize that the climb isn't as impossible as it once seemed. And with every step, you gain confidence, strength, and a sense of accomplishment. What seemed impossible is now within your reach. Fear is a powerful emotion, but it doesn't have to control you. The key is not in eliminating fear. It's in learning how to use it. Think about the last time you did something that scared you. Perhaps it was speaking in front of a group, starting a new project, or making a difficult decision. At first, you might have felt like giving up, but once you pushed through the fear, you discovered that the process wasn't as scary as it seemed. In fact, you probably felt more empowered afterward, realizing that you were capable of so much more than you originally believed. When fear shows up, it's a signal that you are on the edge of something significant. It's a reminder that growth is happening. But the question is, how do we move past that fear? How do we transform it into something that propels us forward instead of holding us back? The answer lies in mindset. How you approach fear will determine whether it becomes a barrier or a stepping stone. The most successful individuals aren't the ones who never experience fear. They are the ones who have learned to embrace it. They don't see fear as a wall. They see it as a challenge, a call to action. They understand that fear is a part of the journey, and they're willing to face it head-on because they know that on the other side of that fear lies something greater. The person you are becoming is waiting for you on the other side of fear. But how do we build this mindset? How do we train ourselves to not be defeated by fear? It starts with acknowledging that fear is a normal, natural part of life. Every person who has ever achieved greatness has felt fear at some point. The difference is in how they respond. They don't let fear dictate their actions. Instead, they make a choice to move forward anyway. One of the most powerful ways to overcome fear is through small wins. Each time you face a fear and take action, no matter how small, you reinforce the belief that you are in control. These small steps add up over time, and before you know it, you'll find yourself taking on bigger challenges with greater ease. Think about it. Climbing a mountain isn't done in one giant leap. It's achieved by taking one step at a time, gaining confidence with each step, and learning from every obstacle that appears along the way. Another way to overcome fear is through preparation. Fear often comes from the unknown. The more you prepare for a challenge, the more you reduce the uncertainty surrounding it. If you have a plan, if you know what to expect, fear loses its power over you. You feel more capable, more in control, and more ready to face whatever comes your way. Preparation doesn't mean having everything figured out. It simply means you're taking proactive steps to equip yourself with the tools, knowledge, and mindset needed to succeed. Remember, fear doesn't just affect your physical actions, it also impacts your mental state. When you're afraid, your mind can become clouded with negative thoughts. You start doubting yourself, questioning your abilities, and wondering if you're good enough. This negative spiral can keep you stuck, but you don't have to stay in that place. One of the most powerful ways to break free from the grip of fear is by changing your inner dialogue. Instead of letting your mind tell you all the reasons why you can't, start reminding yourself of the reasons why you can. Replace "I'm not good enough" with "I am capable of handling this." Replace "I'm scared" with "This is an opportunity for growth." It's not always easy, but with practice, your thoughts can become a powerful tool in overcoming fear. And the more you practice, the more natural it becomes. You'll start to see fear not as something to avoid, but as something to confront with confidence. As you continue on your journey, remember that overcoming fear is not about eliminating it. It's about learning how to manage it, to move through it, and to use it as fuel for your growth. Fear will always be a part of life, but it doesn't have to stop you from achieving your dreams. With the right mindset and the right tools, you can push past any fear and move toward the life you want to create. Keep climbing, keep pushing, keep going. There's a moment in every person's life when failure feels like the end. It's like you've worked so hard, given so much of yourself, only to see your efforts fall short. The feeling is crushing, and the thought of starting over can feel almost unbearable. But what if I told you that failure is not the end of the road? It's just the beginning. What if the things that seem like the worst setbacks could actually be the very experiences that propel you forward? You've probably been there before. You've worked tirelessly toward a goal. You've done everything right. But the outcome wasn't what you expected. It's painful, isn't it? It's easy to feel defeated, to want to give up and walk away. But in those moments of failure, something amazing happens. You learn. You grow. You gain insights that you can only get by experiencing things that don't go according to plan. In those moments of disappointment, there's an opportunity for something greater. Imagine you've been training for months for a big race. You've put in the hours, you've pushed through the pain, and you're ready to cross that finish line. But on race day, something unexpected happens. You trip and fall. The crowd is still cheering, but you're on the ground, feeling like you've let everyone down. For a moment, it seems like all your hard work was for nothing. But then, something shifts inside of you. Instead of staying down, you get up. You keep going. And in that moment, you realize that falling doesn't make you a failure. It makes you stronger. You've learned how to persevere, how to push past the setbacks and keep moving forward, no matter what. This is the power of failure. It's not about the mistake, the setback, or the fall. It's about what you choose to do after. Will you stay down? Or will you get up, dust yourself off, and keep moving? The decision is yours. The most successful people in the world aren't the ones who never failed. They're the ones who failed the most and kept going. They learned from their mistakes and used those lessons to build something even better. Failure is an essential part of success. It's the foundation upon which all growth is built. Without failure, there would be no progress. Without mistakes, there would be no lessons. Think about it. Some of the greatest achievements in history came from moments of failure. Thomas Edison, for example, failed countless times before inventing the light bulb. But instead of seeing those failures as roadblocks, he saw them as stepping stones. Each failure was a lesson that brought him closer to success. "I have not failed," he famously said. "I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." And it's not just inventors or entrepreneurs who experience failure. We all do. Whether it's in relationships, careers, or personal growth, failure is a part of the journey. But what matters is how we respond. When we fall, we can choose to stay down, or we can choose to rise. It's in those moments of failure that we discover what we're truly made of. It's when we're tested that we find out what we're capable of. Think about the last time you experienced a failure. Maybe you didn't get the job you wanted, or maybe a project didn't turn out the way you had hoped. It felt discouraging, didn't it? You probably questioned your abilities, wondered if you were good enough. But if you look back, what did you learn from that experience? What did that failure teach you? Chances are, it taught you something valuable, something that you wouldn't have learned if everything had gone perfectly. Maybe you learned that you need to be more patient with yourself. Maybe you learned that persistence pays off, even when things aren't going your way. Maybe you learned that failure isn't the end of the story, it's just a chapter. One of the most powerful ways to move past failure is to reframe it. Instead of seeing it as something negative, start viewing it as a necessary part of the process. Failure is not something to be ashamed of, it's something to embrace. It's an opportunity for growth, an opportunity to become better. The next time you face a setback, remind yourself that it's not the end. It's just the beginning of a new chapter in your journey. You've learned something, and now you're ready for the next step. In fact, failure can be your best teacher. It can show you where you need to improve, where you need to adapt, and where you need to be more resilient. It's through our failures that we become stronger, wiser, and more capable of handling whatever life throws our way. It's not about avoiding failure. It's about learning how to bounce back from it and keep moving forward. So, the next time you fail, don't be discouraged. Don't let it define you. Instead, let it be the fuel that drives you to keep going. Learn from it, grow from it, and let it push you to achieve even greater things. Because in the end, the most successful people are the ones who keep going, no matter how many times they fail. They understand that failure is not the opposite of success. It's a part of it. The road to success is not a straight line. It's full of twists and turns, bumps and hurdles, and yes, failures along the way. But every failure is an opportunity to become better, stronger, and more resilient. And with every failure, you're one step closer to achieving the life you've always dreamed of. So, when life knocks you down, remember that it's not the fall that matters. It's how you get back up. And every time you rise, you become more unstoppable. Life has a way of throwing challenges at us when we least expect it. Sometimes, it feels as though the world is conspiring against us, testing our limits and pushing us to the brink. In those moments, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, like there's no way out, no way to overcome the hurdles in front of us. But what if, instead of seeing obstacles as something that will stop us, we saw them as opportunities to grow, to strengthen our resolve, and to prove to ourselves just how far we can go? Take a moment and think about the toughest challenge you've faced in your life. Maybe it was a difficult time at work, a personal struggle, or a goal that seemed impossible to reach. In that moment, did you see that challenge as something that would hold you back, or did you see it as a chance to push forward, to rise above the situation and come out stronger? The truth is, every challenge you face is an opportunity for growth, even if it doesn't feel that way at first. It's in those moments of struggle that we discover what we're truly made of. When everything is easy, there's no need to dig deep. But when things get tough, that's when we find out how strong we really are. Imagine you're standing at the foot of a mountain. The summit is your goal, but the path to get there is steep, rocky, and full of obstacles. At first, the mountain seems impossible to climb. But as you start to make your way up, something changes. The further you climb, the stronger you become. Each step, though difficult, builds your strength and resilience. And the higher you go, the more you realize that the mountain is not as insurmountable as it once seemed. The key is persistence. Every obstacle you face on the way up is just another chance to prove that you can overcome it. And with each hurdle you clear, you grow stronger, more determined to reach the top. This is how life works. The obstacles you face are not there to break you. They're there to make you stronger. When you encounter difficulties, it's easy to think that life is unfair, that things should be easier. But what if the tough times weren't a punishment? They were a gift. What if the challenges you face are not meant to make you feel defeated, but to help you become the person you were always meant to be? Think about some of the most successful people in history. Did they reach their goals without obstacles? Absolutely not. They faced tremendous challenges, setbacks, and failures. But what set them apart wasn't their ability to avoid problems. It was their ability to face them head-on, to overcome them, and to keep going. Every obstacle they encountered only made them more determined, more focused, and more capable of achieving their dreams. It's the same for you. Every challenge you face is shaping you into the person who is capable of achieving greatness. Obstacles, however difficult they may seem in the moment, are an integral part of life. They push you out of your comfort zone, forcing you to grow in ways you never thought possible. They test your resolve, your commitment, and your ability to persevere. But they also teach you invaluable lessons. They teach you that failure is not the end, that setbacks are not permanent, and that success is built not on avoiding obstacles, but on overcoming them. There's a reason why some of the most successful people in the world talk about failure and obstacles as stepping stones to success. They don't see these challenges as things that will hold them back. They see them as opportunities to rise above, to learn, and to grow. They understand that overcoming obstacles is not just about reaching the end goal. It's about the person you become in the process. And it's not just about pushing through challenges for the sake of achieving a goal. It's also about developing a mindset that sees setbacks as temporary and solvable. The ability to embrace challenges without becoming discouraged is a trait that sets successful people apart from the rest. It's about knowing that obstacles are just a natural part of the journey, and instead of shrinking away from them, you face them with courage and resilience. Think of a time when you've overcome something difficult. Maybe it was a personal challenge, a tough situation at work, or even a struggle with your own self-doubt. At the time, it may have seemed insurmountable, but once you got through it, you realized that the experience didn't break you. It made you stronger. You came out the other side more capable, more resilient, and more confident in your ability to handle whatever comes your way. That's the power of overcoming obstacles. Each challenge you face, no matter how difficult, is an opportunity to grow stronger, to build your confidence, and to prove to yourself just how capable you are. The next time you face a difficult situation, remember that it's not the obstacle that defines you, it's how you respond to it. Will you let it stop you, or will you rise to the challenge and use it as an opportunity to grow? The road to success is never a smooth one. It's full of bumps, detours, and unexpected turns. But it's those very obstacles that make the journey worthwhile. They shape you, teach you, and prepare you for the success that is waiting for you on the other side. So the next time you face a challenge, don't shy away from it. Embrace it. See it as an opportunity to prove to yourself that you are unstoppable, that no obstacle can hold you back, and that you have the strength, determination, and resilience to overcome anything that stands in your way. Every day, life presents us with a new set of challenges. Some days, it feels as though the weight of the world is on our shoulders, pushing us down and testing our limits. But it's in those moments, when everything seems impossible, that we discover our true strength. It's in those very moments that we have the opportunity to rise, to push past our doubts and fears, and to show ourselves what we are truly capable of. Think about a time in your life when you felt completely overwhelmed. Maybe it was a situation that seemed too much to handle, a problem at work, a relationship struggle, or an obstacle in achieving your personal goals. In those moments, it can feel as though the world is against you, that you are too small, too weak, or too powerless to do anything about it. But remember, even the tallest mountains are climbed one step at a time, and even the greatest challenges are overcome one decision at a time. There is a saying that the darkest hour is just before the dawn. Often, when we are in the middle of our struggles, we can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. The road ahead seems long, and the obstacles in front of us feel insurmountable. But it's important to remember that these difficult moments are often the ones that shape us the most. The obstacles that seem so big today will, with time and persistence, become the very stepping stones that lead us to success. Imagine standing at the edge of a forest, looking at the thick trees and dense undergrowth ahead. The path is unclear, and the forest seems vast and intimidating. But with each step you take, you begin to make your way through it. At first, it's hard to see any progress, but the more you push forward, the more the path begins to clear. Soon, the trees begin to thin, and the sun starts to peek through. What once seemed like an impossible journey is now becoming a reality. This is how challenges in life work. In the beginning, they may seem overwhelming, but with persistence, patience, and a strong will, you begin to carve out your own path. It's easy to get discouraged when the road is tough, but the key is to keep moving forward. Even when things feel impossible, remember that every step you take brings you closer to the other side. One of the most important things to remember when faced with challenges is that you don't have to do it alone. Often, we get caught up in the idea that we must figure everything out by ourselves, but the truth is that we all need support. Whether it's friends, family, mentors, or even just a kind word from a stranger, there are people around us who are willing to help us. Don't be afraid to reach out for support when you need it. There is strength in asking for help, and doing so does not make you weak. It makes you human. At the same time, it's important to trust yourself. You have everything you need within you to overcome any obstacle in your path. There will be moments when you doubt yourself, when you question your abilities and wonder if you're strong enough to keep going. But in those moments, take a deep breath and remind yourself that you have faced challenges before and come out stronger on the other side. You are capable of more than you realize, and with each new obstacle you face, you only become more resilient. Consider the stories of people who have faced incredible odds and still found a way to succeed. Think of athletes who overcome physical injuries to return stronger than ever, or entrepreneurs who face countless setbacks yet continue to push forward. These people didn't reach their success by avoiding obstacles. They reached it by embracing the challenges they faced and using them as fuel to keep going. They knew that setbacks were not the end. They were simply part of the process. The key to overcoming obstacles is not to avoid them, but to face them head-on with courage and determination. Every obstacle you encounter is an opportunity to build your strength, to develop your skills, and to learn valuable lessons that will serve you in the future. When you encounter an obstacle, don't see it as something that's in your way. See it as something that's helping you grow. It's easy to get discouraged when things don't go as planned, when everything seems to be falling apart, and when the obstacles ahead seem too great to overcome. But it's important to remember that failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of the journey. Every failure you experience is just another lesson, another step closer to your ultimate success. It's through these failures that you learn what doesn't work, so you can find the path that will lead you to your goals. Success is not about avoiding failure or obstacles. It's about how you respond to them. The most successful people are not the ones who have faced no obstacles. They are the ones who have faced the most obstacles and refuse to let them stop them. They've learned to embrace failure, to learn from it, and to keep moving forward. When you're facing a challenge, remember that it's not the obstacle itself that matters. It's what you do with it. Will you let it stop you, or will you use it to push yourself to the next level? The decision is yours, and with every obstacle you face, you have the power to choose how you will respond. In the end, life is not about avoiding obstacles or seeking comfort. It's about growing through the challenges we face, learning from them, and using them to become the best version of ourselves. The obstacles in your life are not there to defeat you. They are there to make you stronger. And every time you face one head-on, you prove to yourself that you are capable of achieving anything you set your mind to. So, the next time you find yourself facing an obstacle, don't see it as something that will hold you back. See it as an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to become the person you are meant to be. Every challenge is a chance to rise above, to strengthen your resolve, and to show the world, and yourself, just how unstoppable you really are. As you walk through life, you may encounter countless situations where it feels as though everything is working against you. You've put in the hard work, you've sacrificed time and effort, and yet it still feels as if things aren't going your way. In those moments, it's easy to fall into despair, to feel as though there's no way out, or that all your efforts have been in vain. But the truth is, these difficult moments are often when you're closest to breaking through to something greater. Think about a time when you faced a challenge so daunting that you thought there was no way you could overcome it. Maybe it was a job loss, a relationship breakdown, or an unexpected setback that left you feeling stuck. In those moments, it's easy to believe that this is the end, that there's no point in going forward. But what you may not realize is that every challenge, no matter how difficult, contains within it the seeds of your greatest growth. It's easy to think that success is all about achieving our goals without any hiccups, but the reality is that success is born from the journey, not the destination. The path to success is rarely a straight line. There will be twists and turns, ups and downs, and moments that will test your resolve. But it's in those moments of difficulty that you will learn the most about yourself. Each challenge you face, whether big or small, is an opportunity to learn, adapt, and become better. When faced with a setback, it's easy to feel defeated. You may start to question your abilities, your choices, or your worth. But it's important to remember that setbacks are not failures. They are stepping stones. Every time you stumble, you are being given a chance to rise stronger than before. There's a saying that you learn the most about yourself when you're faced with adversity. And it's true. The challenges that seem so difficult at the time often reveal hidden strengths, abilities, and resilience that you never knew you had. When things are easy, it's hard to discover just how much you're capable of. But when the going gets tough, that's when you find out what you're truly made of. Let's consider a time when you were faced with a difficult decision or an obstacle that seemed insurmountable. It might have been a situation that forced you to dig deep, to rely on your inner strength, and to push through when you felt like giving up. Maybe it was a personal or professional challenge that tested your patience, your creativity, or your willpower. In that moment, you probably felt unsure, uncertain, and even afraid. But looking back, you can see how that challenge shaped you. You can see how it helped you grow, even though it didn't feel like it at the time. The truth is, challenges are not things to fear. They are opportunities to grow and evolve. Every time you face a challenge, you are learning valuable lessons. You are learning about your own limits, your own capacity for growth, and your own potential. Challenges teach you things that success can never teach you. They show you where you are strong, where you need improvement, and where you have the ability to overcome obstacles. In the midst of challenges, it can be easy to become discouraged. The weight of the world seems heavy, and it feels like there's no end in sight. But it's important to remember that no challenge is permanent. Every storm passes, and every difficult situation eventually resolves. The key is to keep moving forward, even when it feels impossible. You don't have to have all the answers right away. You don't have to see the entire path laid out before you. Sometimes, success is not about knowing exactly what to do next. It's about taking the next step, even when you don't have all the answers. It's about showing up every day, putting in the effort, and trusting that the path will reveal itself in time. There's a reason why some of the most successful people in the world are also the most resilient. They faced setbacks, failures, and challenges, but they didn't let those things define them. They understood that challenges are part of the process, not the end of the road. And more importantly, they learned to embrace challenges as opportunities to grow stronger and smarter. The next time you're faced with a challenge, try to change the way you see it. Instead of seeing it as an obstacle that's holding you back, try to see it as an opportunity for growth. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I use this experience to become better? When you shift your perspective, you'll find that challenges no longer seem as intimidating. They become part of your journey, part of the process that leads to the best version of yourself. There's something powerful about overcoming a challenge. It's not just about reaching the goal or achieving the success. It's about the strength you gain in the process. When you conquer a challenge, you prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you ever thought possible. You realize that no matter how difficult things get, you have the power to overcome them. It's also important to remember that not every challenge will be conquered overnight. Some obstacles will take time to overcome, and that's okay. The journey is not about instant success. It's about steady progress. Every small step you take brings you closer to your goal. Every time you rise after a setback, you get stronger. And as you face these challenges, remember that you are not alone. Many people, Even the most successful ones have faced challenges that seemed impossible. They have stumbled, fallen, and made mistakes, just like you. But the difference is, they didn't give up. They didn't let failure define them. They kept going, kept learning, and kept improving. And that's what made all the difference. So, the next time life throws a challenge your way, don't back down. Embrace it. Know that you have everything inside you to rise to the occasion. And remember, the path to success is built on the obstacles you overcome. The more you face, the stronger you become. Keep pushing forward, because you are unstoppable. It's often said that the road to success is never smooth. In fact, it's the challenges, the obstacles, and the setbacks that shape us into who we are. They force us to grow, to adapt, and to become better versions of ourselves. Imagine, for a moment, that you're driving down a road, and all of a sudden, you hit a massive pothole. It jolts you, it's frustrating, and for a brief moment, you think it's going to throw you off course. But then, after that initial shock, you adjust. You fix the tire, you regain your focus, and you keep driving. This is how life works. Setbacks are inevitable, but they don't have to stop you. Instead, they're opportunities for growth. Every obstacle you face, no matter how big or small, is an opportunity to learn something new. At first, it might feel like the universe is working against you. You might ask yourself, why is this happening to me? It's easy to feel defeated when things aren't going the way you planned. But the truth is, life is unpredictable, and these bumps in the road are part of the process. What matters is how you respond. Will you let the obstacle define you, or will you rise above it? Think back to a time in your life when something didn't go as planned. Maybe you faced a disappointment, or things just didn't turn out the way you expected. It's natural to feel upset, frustrated, or even hopeless in those moments. But what if, instead of focusing on how unfair it felt, you chose to look for the lesson? What if you asked yourself, what can I learn from this? What if you saw the obstacle as a chance to get better, to improve your skills, or to become stronger? When you approach obstacles this way, you shift your perspective. Instead of seeing them as barriers that stop you in your tracks, you see them as stepping stones that push you forward. Every time you face a challenge and overcome it, you build resilience. You prove to yourself that no matter what comes your way, you have the strength and determination to handle it. And that sense of accomplishment, that feeling of overcoming something difficult, is what fuels you to keep going. There's a quote that says, "A diamond is just a lump of coal that did well under pressure." This is true for all of us. The most beautiful and valuable parts of us are often forged in the fire of adversity. It's the tough times, the struggles, that reveal our true strength. When things are easy, we don't really know what we're capable of. But when life pushes us to our limits, that's when we discover the depth of our resilience. Let's take a moment to consider the story of Thomas Edison. He failed over 1,000 times before successfully inventing the light bulb. If he had given up after his first few failures, or even after his 100th attempt, the world would be a very different place. But Edison didn't see his failures as reasons to quit. He saw them as lessons. He learned from each attempt, and he used that knowledge to eventually create something that changed the world. His persistence, his ability to push through failure, is what made him successful. In your own life, you too will face setbacks. You'll encounter moments where things don't go the way you expect, and that's okay. It doesn't mean you've failed. It simply means you're learning. Every challenge is an opportunity to improve, to adapt, and to grow. If you can approach each obstacle with this mindset, you will find yourself becoming stronger and more capable with each passing day. But it's not just about overcoming obstacles in the traditional sense. Sometimes, the biggest challenge is learning how to overcome yourself. We all have inner doubts, fears, and insecurities that can hold us back. We might doubt our abilities, question our worth, or wonder if we're truly capable of achieving our goals. These inner struggles can be just as challenging as any external obstacle. But the key to overcoming them is not to run away from them. Instead, you must face them head-on, acknowledge them, and then choose to rise above them. Think of these internal struggles as hurdles in your path. They might seem insurmountable at times, but they can be overcome with the right mindset. It takes courage to face your fears and to push through the moments of self-doubt. But once you do, you'll discover that you are far stronger than you ever thought possible. We all have limiting beliefs, thoughts that tell us we're not good enough, that we can't achieve our dreams, or that we're destined to fail. These beliefs are often formed by past experiences, by things others have said to us, or by our own fears. But the truth is, these beliefs are not facts. They are simply thoughts that don't have to define us. You have the power to challenge those beliefs, to question them, and to rewrite the narrative. Instead of saying, "I can't," you can start saying, "I will." Instead of thinking, "I'm not good enough," you can remind yourself, "I am more than enough." The key is to stop allowing these limiting beliefs to control your actions. If you believe you can't achieve something, you'll never even try. But if you believe you can overcome any challenge, you'll find a way to make it happen. It's all about the power of your mindset. One of the most powerful things you can do when faced with an obstacle is to change your thinking. Instead of focusing on the difficulty of the situation, focus on the possibility. Instead of saying, "This is too hard," try saying, "I will find a way." It's amazing how this shift in perspective can change everything. When you start to believe that there is always a way forward, even when it seems impossible, you start to find solutions that you never thought existed. And remember, overcoming obstacles doesn't mean you have to do it all alone. You don't have to carry the weight of the world by yourself. Sometimes, asking for help or seeking guidance can make all the difference. Whether it's a mentor, a friend, or a support system, having people around you who believe in you can give you the strength you need to keep going. The road to success is never a straight line. There will always be bumps along the way, and you will always encounter challenges. But that's not something to fear. It's something to embrace. Because every obstacle you overcome brings you one step closer to your goals. Every setback is a lesson, and every lesson is an opportunity for growth. So, the next time you face a challenge, don't back down. Instead, face it head-on, knowing that you have the strength to rise above it. You are capable of far more than you think. And with each challenge you conquer, you become unstoppable. As we come to the final part of this journey, let's take a moment to reflect on everything we've learned. Along the way, we've explored countless ways to overcome obstacles, and we've discovered that the challenges we face are not roadblocks. They're opportunities for growth. Now, it's time to put all of this into action. Imagine, for a moment, that you're standing at the edge of a mountain. The climb has been difficult, and there were moments along the way when you thought about giving up. But now, looking back, you can see how far you've come. You've learned, you've grown, and you've faced every challenge head-on. As you stand at the top, you realize that the real victory wasn't reaching the peak. It was everything you learned on the way up, the strength you gained, the lessons you learned, and the person you became along the way. That's the true reward. This journey we've talked about isn't just about achieving external success. It's about the transformation that happens within you. Each challenge you face, each obstacle you overcome, doesn't just bring you closer to your goals. It shapes you into the person you need to be to achieve them. The struggles, the failures, the setbacks, they all serve a purpose. They push you to evolve, to become stronger, and to develop resilience. And the best part is, with each challenge you face, you become unstoppable. You become someone who is no longer afraid of obstacles, but someone who embraces them and rises to meet them. But there's one more important thing to remember. Success is not a destination, it's a journey. So many times, we get caught up in the idea that once we reach our goals, everything will be perfect. But the truth is, the pursuit of your dreams is ongoing. There's always another challenge, another mountain to climb. The key is to stay focused on the journey, not just the destination. Every step you take, every small victory you achieve, brings you closer to becoming the person you're meant to be. As you move forward from here, remember that you are never alone in this. Everyone, at some point in their life, faces challenges. The key is knowing that it's okay to struggle, it's okay to feel lost, and it's okay to take a step back. What matters is that you don't give up. Every time you face a challenge, you have a choice. You can let it break you, or you can let it make you stronger. And as we've discussed, you have everything it takes to rise above whatever life throws your way. You might encounter moments where you feel uncertain, where the path ahead doesn't seem clear, and where your strength falters. But that's when you need to dig deep and remember all the times you've already overcome. You have a history of resilience. Every challenge you've faced has equipped you with the tools you need to succeed. So when the going gets tough, remind yourself, you've done it before, and you can do it again. We also learn that success isn't a solo venture. There's strength in community, in leaning on others, and in sharing your journey. Don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it. The people around you, whether family, friends, or mentors, are there to support you. The power of connection cannot be underestimated. It's not about doing everything alone. It's about finding the right people to walk with you on your path. Together, we are stronger. One of the most important things to keep in mind as you move forward is the power of belief. Believing in yourself, in your abilities, and in your potential is one of the most powerful tools you have. If you don't believe in yourself, it's hard for others to believe in you. But when you start to believe in your own strength, in your own resilience, the world around you starts to shift. The obstacles that once seemed insurmountable no longer feel so daunting. You see them as opportunities to grow, to become even stronger, and to prove to yourself just how unstoppable you really are. At times, it may feel like the world is against you. It may seem like the odds are stacked high, and the weight of the world is too heavy to bear. But remember this: obstacles don't define you. Your response to them does. Your ability to keep going, to keep learning, and to keep fighting, that's what defines you. The key to success is not avoiding failure but embracing it, learning from it, and using it as fuel to propel you forward. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that success is about achieving perfection, but that's not true. Success is about growth. It's about progress. It's about becoming the best version of yourself, not just in spite of the challenges you face, but because of them. The most successful people in the world aren't those who've never faced failure. They're the ones who've kept going after every fall. They're the ones who've taken every setback as a lesson and turned it into a stepping stone. So, as you move forward, take everything you've learned here and put it into action. Don't let the fear of failure stop you from moving forward. Embrace every challenge and use it to fuel your journey. Because the truth is, you are unstoppable. No matter what life throws your way, you have the strength to overcome it. You have the power to rise above it. And with every step you take, you're becoming the person you were always meant to be. In the end, success isn't just about what you achieve. It's about who you become in the process. It's about the resilience you build, the lessons you learn, and the strength you gain. So, keep going. Keep facing those obstacles. Keep pushing through those challenges, and keep striving for your dreams. Because with every obstacle you overcome, you become even more unstoppable. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Keep rising, keep learning, and keep moving forward. You are unstoppable, and the best is yet to come.